Okay, so we're going to attempt to CAD model the bag carrier object from the design class website. This is a typical hire project in terms of the complexity of the object. It's very important that we are able to interpret the sizes from the drawing correctly in order to be able to model the object accurately. Okay, so let's open up Inventor and start a new two-dimensional sketch. At this point, we will draw two circles, one diameter 20 and one diameter 60, using the same centre point. Next, we will draw a horizontal line through the 3 o'clock position of both circles, like so, and then we will draw a 45-degree line through the top left segment of the two circles. We will then use the trim tool to remove any extra detail that we don't need, and then we will draw a circle using the centre point of the diagonal line so that it's in the correct position. We will then trim away all other extra detail that we don't need, and then we will draw a straight vertical line that we will use as a mirror line through the centre point of the horizontal line. Then we will select the mirror tool, select all geometry that we have drawn so far, then select the mirror line and click apply. We will then finish sketch and extrude the geometry to a thickness of 20 millimeters. That concludes the first part of this object. We will now move on and draw the handle part of the object. So we will sketch on that front surface of the object, paying attention to the sizes of the ellipses that we need to draw. So we will select the ellipse tool, and then using the centre point we will draw a horizontal ellipse with a minor axis of 40 diameter or radius 20 and a major axis of 100 diameter or radius 50. We will then set apart the centre point of the ellipse from the flat surface of our original object by 100 millimeters. We will then use the offset tool and select the original ellipse and create a new ellipse using the offset size of 20 millimeters. Thereafter, we will draw a straight horizontal line through both ellipses, and we will trim off any extra detail that we don't need. Now it's time to sketch in the second ellipse, which has a major axis of 100 millimeters diameter and a minor axis of 20 millimeters in diameter. So getting that drawn in using the sizes of 10 for the minor radius and 50 for the major radius. Then, as before, we will use the offset tool again, ensuring that the offset size between both ellipses are 20 millimeters. Then we will draw a horizontal straight line through both ellipses and trim off any extra detail that we don't need. We will then ensure that the size between the lower ellipse and the upper ellipse is 20 millimeters of difference, and we will then join all points up using straight vertical lines. At that point we will finish sketch, and we will then extrude the handle area by 20 millimeters. To join both parts of this up, we will create a new sketch on the square area that you can see here, and we will then right click and select slice graphics in order to see the area that we're working on, and you can project geometry here in order to ensure that all lines can be referenced. At that point we then want to select the rectangle tool and simply draw a square in that area. Now it's just a case of selecting the extrude tool and extruding to next using that button there, and that will take you up to the elliptical surface as shown. Okay, so moving on to the final part of the model, we are going to create a work plane and use that surface as a reference, but we are going to work 10 millimeters in. Now we're going to use our existing sketch of the geometry that we created in the first part of the video. We're going to copy that geometry, and we're going to create a new sketch on that work plane that we just created, and we are going to paste this geometry into that sketch. If your geometry doesn't paste into the correct position, you can use the dimension tool to reposition the geometry as needed. The final part then is to simply extrude that geometry symmetrically and then turn off the visibility of the work plane so as to complete the project.